Good morning, students. How are you doing today? I hope you are fine and fantastic. I am a teacher of political science and my name is Jiga Sukuni. Okay, guys, I welcome you on behalf of Tanaji IS Academy. And here, you guys can prepare with us till your selection. And you can prepare here for UPSC CSC 2021. Okay, guys, you know that this platform is the only platform where you can interact with your faculty with live classes. Okay, let's coming to the main point, that is why Tanaji's IS Academy. If there are so many academies out there, why should I choose this academy? So I am going to answer your question here. Okay, so let's see. First thing, you guys will get here daily live classes. So daily live classes means what? You guys will be able to interact with your teachers. You guys will be able to get engaged with your teachers in discussions. The doubts will be taken care of, okay? And you will be given your answer sheets after assessment. So a lot of things are going to happen on live classes. Apart from this, you have second feature, that is structured courses. What does structured courses means? Here you guys will get a platform where you can get all the study material at your doorsteps. As we know that there are so many study material available in the market, we are very confused what to read, how much to read, from where to begin. So we will counsel you here and we will give you selected material for studying. Okay, coming to the third point. The third point is here live test and quiz. Look, we all are aware the importance of live test and quiz we cannot deny. And if you are here and you're getting all the benefits, like you will be able to attempt your quiz, and after every lecture I will also have some sort of sessions. I would also discuss with you the previous year questions, and it will be very fantastic class. It will be amazing to discuss with you all those things that I desire sometimes to discuss with my students who are preparing for UPSC. Okay, the last topic, unlimited access. You know that Tanaji's Academy is a platform where you can get unlimited access to the archives of Tanaji Academy. Here you guys will get pre-recorded videos where you can watch them again and again. You can ask your queries again and again till you guys get confirmed and till you guys get satisfied. Okay guys, moving forward. Okay, that is me, your teacher. I have more than 5 years of teaching experience. I believe my teaching style is a bit strategic. I believe that you guys will love it. Okay, moving forward with the next thing. Okay, the next thing is plus subscription. So what is plus subscription? Let's see. Very simple thing is there. Why do we need plus subscription? What all things are there? Look guys, if you take plus subscription, you will be able to access all those things which are specially made for the students who are regular students and who are student of Tanaji IS Academy. And for those all students, we have certain kind of norms and certain kind of facilities to uplift their education and their studying habits. So the minimum cost for 1 month will be 7,000, but you can see the amount is decreasing every month. For 3 months it's 6,000 a month, then for 6 months it's 5,000 a month. And if you go for yearly courses, 2-year courses and 3-year courses, you have certain kind of amount that you need to pay, like it begins 3,000 a month. Okay guys, so which I believe is not too much for IS. Okay, so let's talk about it. If you are preparing for IS, so if you are pursuing your graduation, so I would recommend you to choose these 3 courses. If you are in first year, then you can take this course. If you are in second year, you can take this course. And if you are in final year, you can take this course. All these 3 courses will help you and will get you to the depth of IS preparation. Okay, you will get all study materials from Tanaji IS Academy with the minimal charges, and it will be delivered to you by courier. Okay, moving forward everyone. Okay, so far I believe you might have subscribed to the channel. If you haven't, please do like, share and subscribe the channel and do like my videos. And you guys know that there will be live classes, free live classes on YouTube that you can watch every time, but these will always be overview, not in depth. So from 20th of October, you can watch all our videos available on YouTube. Okay, you can get to prepare here for IAS, IFS, IPS, MPPCS, UPPCS and BPSC. All these courses are available here. Thank you very much, guys. Moving with the next topic, and that is the main topic of our today's class, which is emergency. Okay, everyone, what is emergency? What this provision have importance in our political science, in our Indian polity? We cannot forget the days when we had national emergency in India. So in order to know these all things in detail, let's get into the topic. Okay, let me take the marker. Okay, everyone, so let's begin the class. The class is about emergency provisions. Okay, everyone, a state of emergency in India is referred to a period of governance that can be proclaimed by president. I'll tell you this in very simple language. When there is a problem in maintaining law and order, like you can talk about if there is a problem in law and order, if there is a problem with internal issues, there is some sort of problem internally going on in the country. In that situation, the minister, especially Prime Minister and the Council of Ministers, request Prime Minister to request to President to uphold the emergency. And President is the only person who can proclaim emergency in the country. Okay? And this could only be proclaimed during the crisis situation. That crisis situation can be of many types. Like you can see now, it's been more than 2 years. The situation in Venezuela is like pathetic. So I believe that in our country, the situation like Venezuela doesn't come. So if it does, that is also state of emergency. Okay guys, let's move forward. Under the advice of Cabinet of Ministers, as I told you, the President can overrule many provisions of Constitution which guarantees fundamental rights. Believe me guys, these fundamental rights are very important for our survival. But as I can recall, when there was Prime Minister Indira Gandhi, we did not have even a single fundamental right with us. All fundamental rights were taken away from us, even Article 21. As you know, Article 21 gives us right to life and liberty. Okay, moving forward, the emergency provisions are contained in Part 18. So, Part 18 talks about the emergency provisions. Okay, and here the Article 352 to Article 360 talks about emergency, where Article 352 is national emergency, Article 356 is state emergency, and Article 360 is financial emergency. So only financial emergency has not been there in our country. Otherwise, all emergency has already taken place in the country. I have a question to ask you. If you can tell me, is there any state which did not have president rule? Please write down in the comment section, and let's see how many of you are aware about it. Which state did not have even a single time emergency? Okay, moving forward, the rationality behind the incorporation is to safeguard the sovereignty. As I told you, sovereignty is very important. Every country is known with this very, very important point. You can see the Samprabhuta is the translation in Hindi. And apart from it, unity and integrity and security of the country. So these all are very important to uphold in the democratic politics system in the constitution. Okay, moving forward everybody. The constitution stipulates 3 types of emergency. As I told you already, we have 3 types of emergencies. First, national emergency, that is Article 352. Next, that is presidential rule, you can say, or state emergency. Okay, and the final is financial emergency. So that is Article 352, Article 356 and Article 360. So let's talk about national emergency. National emergency is, with its name, is very clear. This emergency is applicable in the country as a whole. Here national emergency can be declared on the basis of war. If there is a war going on, external aggression is going on. Okay guys, if there is a armed rebellion is going on, in these all situations you see emergency can be proclaimed. So the constitution employs the expression of proclamation of emergency to denote emergency of these types. Let's go forward. Let's talk about few more grounds on which declaration can be issued. So under Article 352, the President can declare a national emergency when the security of India or part of it is threatened. In other words, I would say we are at a war. If we are facing any war threats and if we are actually in the middle of war, like you know that we get into war with Pakistan in 1947 only. Then we had war in 1962, 1965, 1971, 1999. So these were the old war days, and that is the reason that we had so many national emergencies. But we cannot forget 1975. That was the emergency which was proclaimed by Indira Gandhi on behalf, proclaimed by President on behalf of Indira Gandhi. So let's go forward everybody, moving to the next step, that is the President can declare national emergency even before actual occurrence of war. Like it should not be always like the war should begin first. It could be like, without beginning of the war, there can be emergency proclamation, even the armed rebellion is there or external aggression is there. Okay guys, I hope these words are not so difficult. If they are difficult, then please do like, share and subscribe my channel, and I will be explaining you everything in detail in coming lectures. Okay, so when national emergency is declared on the ground of external aggression and war, it is known as external emergency. On the other hand, when it is declared on ground of armed rebellion, it is known as internal emergency. So the armed rebellion word is generally denoted to internal emergency. Okay guys, moving forward with this term, the term armed rebellion is inserted in the Constitution with 44th Constitutional Amendment Act. Before this was known as internal disturbance. You see guys, it is very clear that after few amendments we are getting things clear. Otherwise the things are little chaotic. Okay, so let's go forward everyone. Next is example with you to make sure that you know what is emergency means. So India and Pakistan openly accept that they will use armed forces against each other in simple war. We know that India and Pakistan are great friends, they always love each other, they don't fight at all. But in some cases we do agree the situation is a bit chaotic. Okay, if there is a no formal declaration that there will be armed forces used against a country is external aggression. When there is no formal declaration, okay, and still the war situation likely to occur. Okay, let's talk about next point, that is, and if because of these two grounds an emergency is proclaimed, is an external emergency. Okay, and these were very simple points, we know these points. Okay guys, let's move forward, that is fact. What facts make it very important? Let's talk about but it is amendment 38th. So 38th amendment talks about how things were created in 1975, okay, which was made a declaration of national emergency immune to judicial review. Look guys, you know that judicial review is mentioned in Article 13 but not clearly mentioned. But if emergency is saved from judicial review, that means emergency can be carried out for a longer time and there will be no inquiry to set up to find out the reasons of emergency proclamation. So this provision was again questioned and changed and deleted by 44th Constitution Amendment Act in 1978. Can you tell me which amendment is known as mini constitution? Mini constitution. Yes, tell me. Yeah, the constitution, mini constitution is generally called a Constitution Amendment Act 42nd, that is 1976. Okay, let's talk about a case study of Minerva Mill case. It is of 1980s. A Supreme Court held the national emergency can be challenged. That means emergency can be challenged in the court on the ground of malafide. We know this thing if there is some sort of some politics was played to in order to carried out the emergency provision, and the declaration was based on wholly extraneous and irrelevant facts. Okay, moving forward, parliamentary approval and duration. Okay, what are the parliamentary approvals? Let's check. Okay, if we talk about proclamation of emergency, it must be approved by both the houses. We know nowadays it is very difficult to actually have national emergency. So the reason behind it is we made it very important that not every minister comes with this provision and applies emergency in the country. So we make it clear that all ministers know the importance of having emergency in a state. So the houses should have say yes. If they can say yes, then only it can be upheld. However, the proclamation of emergency is issued at a time when Lok Sabha has been dissolved or dissolution takes place during the period of 1 month. Without approving the proclamation, then proclamation survives until 30 days from the first sitting of Lok Sabha. So as the Lok Sabha sessions begin, it will be taken care of, and if it is not relevant with the points which are mentioned, it will be struck down. Okay, moving forward with the next point, everyone. It is, if approved by both the houses, emergency continues for 6 months and can be extended by the parliament for indefinite period. However, it can be renewed after every 6 months. Okay. Every resolution approving the proclamation of emergency or continuance must be passed by either house of parliament by special majority. And special majority is 2/3. Let's go forward. Okay guys, next is revocation of proclamation. A proclamation of emergency must be revoked by the president at any time by subsequent proclamation. Such proclamation does not require parliamentary approval. We know that thing, okay. The emergency must be revoked if the Lok Sabha passes a resolution by simple majority. Okay, look, to revoke this emergency problem, it can be with simple majority, but to apply it we require to have special majority. Okay, coming with the effects of national emergency, what all effects take place when national emergency is inserted. So emergency is proclaimed with a drastic and wide-ranging effect. We know that during emergency, that is known as the black days of the democracy and political system. So these consequences are grouped into 3 categories. First, effect on the center-state relations. We know there is an effect on center and state relations when the emergency is proclaimed. While a proclamation of emergency is in force, normal fabric of center-state relation undergoes a basic change because president takes a direct control of the state, whereas the governor takes command on behalf of president, and military is working under the command of president. This can be studied under 3 heads. First, executive. So let's see how executive is related with emergency. Center becomes entitled to give executive directions to a state or any matter. That means executive will work on the guidelines of center. Next is legislative, means parliament. The parliament becomes empowered to make laws on any subject mentioned in the list. Means center government becomes powerful and takes control of all the provision. President can issue ordinance, we know that thing, and state subject also if Parliament is not in session, the laws made on state subject by the president become inoperative for 6 months after the emergency has ceased to be in the operation. Okay guys, we know these all things, very simple points are there, but I know you will be required for more details and on this topic, so don't worry. As we begin normal classes, regular classes, you will get all your doubts rectified very easily. So let's talk about financial, the last topic here. President can modify the constitutional distribution of revenues, like how the money should be distributed for these all plans, but we know that during emergency many social welfare plans are discarded. Still the money is needed, so it will be done on the aid and advice of president. Okay, what is the effect of emergency on the life of people of Lok Sabha and assemblies? Let's check it out. Okay, while proclamation of national emergency it is in operation, life of Lok Sabha may be extended beyond the normal term. We know that there cannot be election held for 1 year at a time. For 1 year we can extend it, however the extension cannot continue beyond period of 6 months after emergency has ceased to operate. So within 6 months you must have election and reinstall the parliament. Okay, similarly the parliament may extend the normal tenure of state legislative assembly by 1 year. The same thing is similar to state, we know this thing. Okay, let's move forward everybody. Okay, what are the effects on fundamental rights? Okay, so let's talk about this. Article 358 and Article 359 describe the effects of national emergency on the fundamental rights. These two provisions are explained below. First, suspension of fundamental rights under Article 19, right to speech and expression. According to Article 358, the proclamation of national emergency is made. 6 fundamental rights under Article 19 are automatically suspended, but you cannot protest against the emergency. You have to go to your home and sit down without any excuses. Article 19 is automatically revived after the expiry of emergency, we know, and it is very very important. We cannot deny Article 19. Moving forward with Article 44th Constitutional Amendment Act laid down Article 19 can only be suspended when national emergency is there. So in terms of state emergency we cannot have it eroded, is laid on the ground of external and not in case of armed rebellion. Okay, moving forward. Suspension of other fundamental rights. So let's talk about these suspension also. So Article 359, that president is authorized to suspend by order the right to move any court for the enforcement of fundamental rights during a national emergency. Thus, remedial measures are suspended and not under Article 359, the President is authorized to suspend by order that right to move any court for enforcement of fundamental rights during national emergency. Thus, remedial measures are suspended and not fundamental rights. So guys, you see here the Article 359 makes many changes, and how the President authorizes to suspend by order the right to move any court for enforcement and not the fundamental rights. Okay, the suspension of enforcement relates to only those fundamental rights that are specified in the presidential order. The suspension could be for the period of during the operation of emergency or the shorter period. The suspension could be for the period of during operation of emergency, we know this thing, and the order should be laid before the Houses of Parliament for approval. So approval will be taken from the Houses of Parliament. The 44th Amendment Act maintains that the President cannot suspend the right to move the court for the enforcement of fundamental right. You cannot go to court, okay, and only Article 20 and 21 is guaranteed to you. And thanks to 44th Constitutional Amendment for that, guys, because you know these are two very very important articles, like no double jeopardy and right to life and liberty. Okay guys, So moving forward, okay, declaration made so far. So declaration made so far. Let's talk about this one. Let me take my marker. Okay, guys. If we talk about declaration made so far, this type of emergency has been proclaimed 3 times so far: 1962, 1971, and 1975. The first proclamation of national emergency was issued in October 1962, and on account of Chinese aggression, that is NEFA, we know that Chinese forces wanted to cross Indian border, and Chinese government was claiming that the Xinjiang region, or you can say the Aksai Chin and Arunachal Pradesh, is their territory. However, it was somehow motivated with the giving shelter to the Dalai Lama in 1959, as the Tibet was acquired in 1950. So there is a story behind it that we will discuss as we start our classes. So till January 1968, that issues were there, and it was started in this November 1962. You guys know that during that time Cold War was also there. So every country was focused on Cold War, but still Chinese took the important, you can say, the plus point from this. Okay, let's move forward, everybody. Second proclamation is national emergency, which was made in December 1971, again from Pakistan, our best friend. Even when emergency was in operation, the third proclamation of a national emergency was made in June 1975, thanks to Indira Gandhi. And both the second and third proclamation were revoked in March 1977. And here comes Janata Party with Morarji Desai. Okay, that too we will learn as we start the regular classes. What is President Rule? Okay guys, let's talk about Article 355, imposition of duty on the center to ensure that the government of every state is carried on in accordance with provisions of Constitution. We know that all power goes into the hand of central government, and they take care of the state government. In that situation, they will maintain the law and order in the state, and they will take care of everything till the situation become normal. And it is a duty to performance of which center takes over government of state under Article 356 in case of failure of constitutional machinery, okay, in a state. So this point is very important. This can directly come in your prelims as in MCQ. The failure of constitutional machinery leads to president rule in a state. Yes, that is true. Okay, then this is popularly known as president rule. Moving forward, everybody, grounds of imposition. What all grounds are there on which the national emergency is or you can say state emergency is imposed? So the president rule can be imposed under Article 356 that we have already learned. Article 356 empowers the president to issue a proclamation if he is satisfied that the situation has arisen in which the government of a state cannot be carried on accordance with the provisions of the Constitution. If the provisions of Constitutions are not properly followed, it could easily be accepted to hold state emergency. Article 365 says that whenever a state fails to comply with or give effect to any direction from center, it will be lawful for the president to hold situation has arisen in which government of the state cannot be carried in accordance with provisions of the Constitution, and state emergency can be laid. Okay guys, in Haryana you see the Jat Arakshan was there, and that situation actually was a very quality situation for state emergency, but that did not happen because in center the government was of BJP and in state the government was of BJP. So you see the politics here is playing very important role. So parliamentary approval for and duration. A proclamation imposition by president's rule must be approved by both the houses of parliament within 2 months from the date of its issue. However, the proclamation of president rule is issued at a time when Lok Sabha has been dissolved. We know that Lok Sabha is very important in terms of applying the rules. So if it is dissolved or the Lok Sabha takes place during the period of 2 months without approving the proclamation, then the proclamation survives 30 days from the first sitting of the Lok Sabha after its reconstitution, provided that the Rajya Sabha approves it in meantime. Okay, so moving forward with the consequences of the president rule, what all consequences we follow, what are the reasons, and why the life is very difficult during president rule. Let's see. The president acquires following extraordinary powers when president rule is imposed. First, he can take up the function of state government and power vested in the governor. We know that, we have already discussed, and the authority of executive is there in his hand. He can declare and that the power of state legislature are to be exercised by parliament. He can take all other necessary steps, including the suspension of constitutional provisions relating to any body or authority in the state. Okay guys, so that is what a very simple explanation that we already have discussed, so there is no need to put so much stress on. Okay, moving forward, the scope of judicial review, as I told you, of Article 38th Amendment Act in 1975 made a satisfaction to the President in invoking Article 356. The final conclusive, which would not be challenged in any court of law or any ground, but this provision was subsequently deleted thanks to Article 44th Amendment Act. Article comes again on my tongue, I'm sorry for that. So thanks to 44th Constitutional Amendment Act 1978, that actually implying that the satisfaction of president is not beyond judicial review. So judicial review is important because president's intention can be influenced by the party. Okay, moving forward, financial emergency, Article 360, very very important. As I told you, so far it has not been into India, but can be possible, as the GDP is -24. Okay, grounds of declaration. Article 360 empowers the president to proclaim financial emergency if he is satisfied then situation has arisen due to which financial stability or credit of India or any part of its territory is threatened. In that situation where we feel that there is a financial instability is there, the country is not feeling or country is not at the verge of survival in terms of financial monetary values, in that situation we can hold financial emergency. The situation came in 1990s. यार हम सबको पता है. Okay guys, moving forward, parliamentary approval and duration. A proclamation declaration declaring financial emergency must be approved by both the houses. Again, it makes it more important within 2 months from the date of its issue. Okay, moving forward. However, the proclamation of financial emergency is issued at a time when Lok Sabha has been dissolved. Okay, and or the dissolution of Lok Sabha takes place during the period of 2 months without approving the proclamation. Then the proclamation survives 30 days, first sitting of Lok Sabha after the reconstitution of Rajya Sabha. So we have to make it sure that it is properly mandated during this time. Once approved by both the houses, Parliament financial emergency continues for indefinitely till it is revoked. Okay, what are the effects of financial emergency on our country? We know all emergency is some sort of negative word. So the extension of the executive authority of the union over the financial matters of the state. Okay, reduction of salary, everybody's salary is decreased, like government employees might feel what is happening, and allowances also taken away of all and any other class of persons serving the state. Reservation of own money bill or other financial bills for the consideration of president, they are passed by legislature of state. Direction of president of the reduction of salaries and allowances of all and any class of persons serving the union and judges of Supreme Court and High Courts. Like directions from president is very important. Moving forward, everybody. So the criticism of emergency provisions, the last point we see what is there. Some members of the Constituent Assembly criticize the incorporation of emergency provisions in the Constitution on the following ground. First, the federal character of the Constitution will be destroyed. We know that the center-state relations are also hampered. Union will become all-powerful. The power of state, both union and units, will entirely take over and be concentrated in the hands of union executive. So as we know that in our federalism, that is quasi-federalism, union is powerful than state. The financial autonomy of the state will be nullified. It will not have so much of power, but the army and the country, central government. Fundamental right will become meaningless. Definitely, you cannot speak, you cannot protest, and the result is democratic foundation of the constitution will be destroyed. So that means the mechanism of democracy will be discarded, destroyed, and there will be no further assistance. While the defending of emergency provisions in the Constitutional Assembly, Dr. Ambedkar accepted the possibility of their misuse. Ambedkar said that there are some reasons that the emergency can be used for personal issues. As I can recall the very famous quote of Ambedkar that I give you the famous and greatest constitution in the world, but I am worried if it goes into the wrong hand, I will be the first person to burn it. So I do not altogether deny the possibilities of articles being abused or employed for political purpose. We know that thing also can be happen. Anyways guys, that was a class and that was wonderful class. I actually enjoyed it a lot. And as I told you, these all are demo classes. Once we begin with regular classes from 20th of October, you will be able to get live classes, face-to-face interaction, recorded lectures, study material, assignment, discussion class, test series, and current affairs. Okay guys, so we will also be very concerned about your all preparation. You can always call us on this number and you can register for further update. And please do one thing, we are going to hold scholarship test on 18th of October. The lines are open even now. You can apply till 17th of October 5 p.m. Okay, and hurry up guys. Once you get scholarship, you will be benefited in many ways. Thank you very much on behalf of our Tanaji IS Academy. Have a nice day. Enjoy yourself. Thank you very much.